And a very good evening to you. This is Newsline Prime, live as always from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in Colombo. And it's a lovely day out there, a touch warm though, a bit of scattered showers, but there you go, that's the way we are here. Now then, this evening, after some absence, we've got the deputy, or the news editor of the Island newspaper, Mr. Shamindra Ferdinando, here with us, live, in conversation. Good evening to you, Mr. Ferdinando.
Good evening, Faraz.
And after a while. Now, I have a question for you. Citizen Ferdinando, are you concerned as to what is now transpiring 4 years on? Do you know it's Valentine's Day, it's the 14th of February, but in 12 days time, or 13 days time, on the 27th will be the 4th anniversary of the greatest scam to engulf the Republic of Sri Lanka since independence. So described, not by me, but by the Attorney General's Department and the Presidential Commission Inquiry. Does it bother Citizen Ferdinando that nothing much has happened? And the second part of that same question, that there's some attempt to change some words in the Registered Securities and Stocks Ordinance. Whereas some people say there is enough of rules and regulations for the central bank to take action. Over to you.
For us, of course, over the past 3 years, there have been attempts to suppress this investigation. Only this month, the Parliament of Sri Lanka endorsed the required law to enable the Bribery Commission to expedite investigations into this matter. So they have recorded a statement from Arjun Aloysius, and shortly they'll be taking statements from several other people. But I must tell you that people know that the Yahapalana government that came into power in January 2015 carried out this fraud.
People know that.
People are aware. I mean, your channel and other channels and the print and electronic media continuously reported this matter over the past 3 years, and people are fully aware. The world knows that there was a huge scam took place in Colombo. Not only in 2015, in 2016 March also. So I don't think the government can suppress this investigation and get away with it. Whatever they do in courts, I am sure at the next national level election, the people of this country will find fault with those responsible for the scam.
Shamindra Ferdinando, that's pretty good. But does this mean we are going to let the perpetrators, the masterminds, the perpetrators, and the beneficiaries of this greatest financial scam get away and keep the proceeds of crime? The reason I'm asking you that is cast your mind now to the United Arab Emirates, to Dubai, where we're told that Madhush and various others have been held on narcotics-related offences in the UAE. That has created a flurry of activity in Sri Lanka. Various people connected to these people who've been arrested in the UAE have had their homes raided, cars taken away, and so on and so forth. And it appears, and another report in one of the papers, I'm not sure if it was in the Island, but it certainly was in one of the other papers, saying, quoting the police spokesperson, saying that the assets of about 50 underworld kingpins are going to be secured by the state. But what about this big fraud? What about the assets of those people?
No, for us it's like this. You cannot compare the investigation in respect of Makadure Madhush with the central bank probe. So don't try to compare the two.
What?
See,
It's all about the public money.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
What do you mean, Mr. Ferdinando?
For us, it's public money when you talk about the
A
central
crime
bank
is
fraud.
a crime. A crime is a crime.
Madhu's affair is different, so
Okay.
we should not compare.
Yes,
two.
I know. But what I'm saying is, I'm talking about proceeds of crime. The United States Drug Enforcement Agency, the DEA, has got assets that would make any world-class billionaire in any currency salivate, because they go off after the assets of those people involved, the profits made by the drug dealers.
Right.
Now, that offense is drug dealing. This offense is stealing from the public. And are we going to let them get away with the profits that they've made out of a crime?
No, Faraz, is not up to the people. The people, of course, at the next parliamentary election or the presidential can vote against these people, right? But you must realize it's up to the parliament. It's up to the parliament to take necessary action. It's up to the parliament because, see, if you talk about this.
Shamindra Ferdinando, please let me remind you that one account at one bank had a credit of 1,300 and something million rupees, or 1.3 billion with a B, right, in one account. And only Daddy and Sonny were able to sign on that account, apparently, right? Now that account, according to the authorities and the information that came out of the Commission of Inquiry, that account was reduced to zero. Hundreds of checks have been issued, some of them to the security people of various politicians. And this money was used to pay these same people.
For us, it's in the public domain. People know about it. People know that...
just because they know. What are you saying? Just because they know they ought to be let behind?
The people know that UNP MP Suji Vasenasinghe received money. I think about...
He's only one person.
One person. Then Dayasri Jayasekara.
Yeah.
Then Field Marshal Fonseca admitted he received 100,000 rupees as campaign funds. So like that, it's not a secret. What I'm telling you is the people of this country know two big scams took place.
People,
right?
People knowing it is insufficient for Mr. Ferdinando.
And for us, people also know the parliament was dissolved in June 2015
yes.
to save those who were responsible for the first bond scam.
Yes.
Right?
With all due respect to
so they committed the
Sena.
second bond scam in March 2016. So the people know. Then the president waited till January 2017 to appoint a commission. So I must tell you, the people are fully aware the involvement of the UNP, the involvement of the SLP and all the others in parliament who cooperated in this scam. Now, there are members in the COPE accused of being in touch with Aloysius. Right? It's in the public domain. So, it's up to the parliament to ensure the bribery commission and other relevant authorities investigate this and punish these people. I mean, there's no dispute over that between you and me. I totally agree. I believe not only the central bank scam, even the Sri Lankan Airlines, just, I mean, the things they have revealed, I don't see any difference between the two, because they have ruined the SLP leadership, the war-winning SLP leadership and the UNP. Together, they collectively, they have ruined the Sri Lankan Airlines. I mean, just go through those reports. I mean, the comments made by Mr. Unambua, then the retired Justice Anil Gunaratna, unbelievable. You know, Mr. Unambua told the commission that Parliament, the Sri Lankan Parliament did not activate the required rules and regulations since 1992, right? Whereas all the other parliaments in the world acted swiftly. So, no difference between these crimes, Faraz. If you go through COPE reports, if you go through PAC reports, you will realize the two major political parties, the UNP and the SLP, collectively have ruined this country.
Well, they've certainly ruined Sri Lankan Airlines. So it begs to pose the question: does this country can this country afford a national airline? Is that the requirement? Is it the requirement that we have some fancy highway to Kandy, a highway to the hills, when in fact there are so many people that these successive governments have forgotten about? The forgotten people mainly in the rural areas of this country who are struggling on a daily basis. They don't have little footbridges to cross from one side of their village to the other. Children have to walk maybe 5 kilometers. Certainly Bandula Jayasekara and I met some children outside of Batiklo a couple of years ago, where those kids were walking.
Farah, you don't have to go to Batiklo, you go to Gampar district, right? Or Kalutara. The situation is the same. So the problems faced by the Sinhalese in the south and the Tamils and the Muslims in the north and east are the same. You know, it's the politicians. It's the politicians. You see, you take the vote on Mr. Vikramasinghe, the no faith motion in April 2018. Except the UNP, the other political parties voted for him. It was the SLP.
They were voting for, not actually.
Voted against.
Yes,
you
what
know,
I want to say
because the motion was moved by the joint opposition and a section of the SLP voted against it, right? So it's at the end of the day, they will think about their political future, how they're going to continue with this government or this administration. They decide on those lines. The people, I don't think any politician in this country, the SLP, UMP, all of them, they are not interested for us. And that's the truth, right? And if they have an opportunity, they'll rob the central bank again.
Indeed, indeed. But, Mr. Ferdinando.
Why do you call me Mr. Ferdinando?
I'm supposed to be formal with you on the program. But I can call you Shamindra.
Please,
Right.
too far.
Thank you. Thank you. Now then, Shamindra, I hear what you say, and I'm sure our listeners hear what you say. But isn't this all down to leadership? Don't you need strong leadership to get to the bottom of this? Do you remember Lee Kuan Yew when the pilots of Singapore Airlines threatened to go on strike? Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, the Prime Minister of Singapore, went onto the street somewhere. I think he'd just come off a flight anyway, and he said that he's given them a couple of hours and that he'll close it down and he'll start it all over again. Inside of 45 minutes, they all returned to work. But that man was not frightened. Here we have people at the national airline acting on some SMS without board approval, without the approval of the principal shareholder, the treasury, the people of the country in short, without the treasury approval, just deciding to cancel contracts and place this country, place the company and therefore the treasury in grave danger.
Certainly.
115 million United States dollars on the back of that.
And when you say that, you must also mention we must also mention the fact that decision, according to Sunil Handunitya of the JP, was taken at the former speaker Chamal Rajapaksa's residence. Something wrong with this system for us, where you cannot, the Sri Lankan Airlines cannot take decisions at the speaker's residence. Right. I mean, it was an allegation, and Mr. Rajapaksa denied that allegation. He said he would resign.
Yes, but later events, we've covered it on Newsfirst, on our news. It transpires that on that particular day, Sri Lankan Airlines board was supposed to meet at, I think it was 3 o'clock, and they were also summoned to appear in Parliament before COPE. That meeting got postponed to around 2:30, which meant that they wouldn't be able to have their own board meeting as planned around the 3 o'clock mark. One of the directors of Sri Lankan Airlines, Mr. Rajapaksa, his name too, Shamindra, Chamal's son, was a director of that company and offered to use the meeting room of the Speaker's House to have the board meeting. Now, we've seen the minutes of meeting and so on.
This reminds me of the UMP ministers meeting at the Central Bank just before the bond scam.
Well, you
Faraz,
could draw that conclusion.
It's better
but
for
to be
Faraz,
fair but to be, excuse me, but I just want to finish what I was saying, lest I get told off. I want to say this, that there is no evidence whatsoever that the Minister of Aviation at the time, or even the Speaker, Mr. Rajapaksa, Chama Rajapaksa, attended that meeting, because he
was not there.
It was nothing to do with him, excepting that his son made available the meeting room at the Speaker's residence for that thing. I don't think that the location matters, but I don't want to get into the details.
We'll leave it
of
out.
that. We'll leave that. But you're right, it did happen, and it's
and Faraz, it's high time both major political parties, the SLP and the UMP, follow strict financial discipline, very strict, because now we are aware that almost all the scams, irregularities, the corruption, the two major political parties are responsible, right?
Yes, but
and we have to admit that.
But yes, we
Right.
do. But Shamindra, how are the people going to fix this?
You know, Faraz, the people, you know, when we asked, when the media and the civil society complain,
Yeah.
they say that the people should elect honest politicians. I think the general secretaries of the party and the party leaders should feel honest politicians, right? It's up to them.
But excuse me, isn't the problem
Then-
with the parties themselves, because they don't put forth anyone other than most people who have got some blessed thing against them. The same old rubbish is put forward. And we are supposed to sift through them and choose the best. What there is.
And for us, now they have the people rejected, the candidates rejected by the people, accommodated through the national list. Now, in this parliament, there are about 10 defeated candidates, about 10. I think about 6 or 7, at least 6 from the UPFA. So it's a terrible situation. So when you talk about corruption, I think without focusing only on the bond scam, I think the media, the civil society, all of us should concentrate on corruption, not only one particular case, but all.
Okay, look, it's time for a break. I'll come back to that with you and clarify that. But in the meantime, it's time for a break from Newsline Prime. Don't go away. After all, this is Newsline Prime. We'll be back shortly.
Newsline Prime with Faraz Shamindra.
And welcome back to Newsline Prime, where we are in conversation with the news editor of the Island newspaper, Mr. Shamindra Ferdinando. Shamindra, I hear what you said, that corruption is not the preserve of any one party, that it is actually across the parties.
Yes.
And no better example than the lead story on the Valentine's Day issue of the Island paper. The lead story, UNP, Aloysius was at Rohita Rajapaksa's wedding mass. And there you are. When the wedding isn't it is just the event I'm talking about. When you look at that event, earlier you saw the Prime Minister cozying it up with Mahinda Rajapaksa, not only the Prime Minister, but several other members of the
Mangala Samarvira, Sagala
Ratnayaka, Kabir Hashim, you know, they were all there. It's not that it's, you know, it's not that we don't expect them not to go and so on, but it's just odd that you call each other rogues. You know, do you remember that thing in Parliament Kaudahora and all that.
I think MP Ranjan Ramanayaka criticized the Prime Minister for attending the wedding.
Well, that's because it's completely false. Their commitment towards their undertaking to the people is absolutely false. There has been zero delivery. And nobody is answering these questions. Where is our money? When are we going to get it back? The Prime Minister, what is his standing, Shamindra Ferdinand? What is his standing for him to say, oh yeah, we'll recover 8,500 million, 8.5 billion, and then what? And then everything's fine? So then let's release all these drug dealers, shall we? Because they've been arrested, we've got their property, so let's let them go. What complete nonsense is this? What kind of law is this?
So it's not only the Prime Minister for us. If you see the Parliament,
right, it's not only the Prime Minister,
it's a system.
It's everybody.
Faraz is the system. You take the Parliament.
So we have two laws. In short, we have two laws.
Definitely.
One for the people who are favoured and one for everybody else.
Now, a few months back,
it makes
they arrested UPFA Ratnapur District MP Ranjit Soisa for assaulting a person. He was remanded, pending inquiry. Now, when the UNP MP Shamindra Vijayasiri assaults a policeman, he is given bail.
You look at what's happened to the ETI case. The company is being bought by two companies. It's the two companies there. And then suddenly we find that one of those companies has sold this on to a company that is supposedly under a cloud in Europe. Right? And yet they maintained, the government, central bank, that the depositors of that ETI company, the financial side of it, would be the beneficiaries of the sale of that company. So I'd like to ask them, how much have you settled the depositors with them?
They continue with their protest for us. I think we must all...
That's all we people are reduced to be able to go and make a protest. Nothing happens because the guys in power, they actually drive past us whilst we are protesting in their luxury vehicles.
Yes.
Right? And they are obviously air conditioned at our expense because we are paying them. Right? And what do? I think the people of Sri Lanka need to arm themselves with broomsticks so that when it comes to the next election and they come canvassing, all you have to do is just show them the broomstick.
For us, I tell you one thing, the corrupt politicians, the most corrupt politicians will receive the highest manab. You take any district, you take Gampa, you take Kalutara, right? The corrupt people receive votes. I tell you, the thugs, the hooligans, right? So there's no pointing, people trying to, whatever we do, whatever the media reports, at the end of the day, at national level, our people always pick the most corrupt, right? Otherwise, the most of the people in current parliament, they would have gone out long time ago. No, it will never happen, right? The people...
You sound very defeatist this evening.
Definitely, because the people, I tell you, the people, if you go through the COPE and PACT report, if you identify, you can easily identify the people who are responsible for the biggest frauds. They'll poll the highest vote in each and every district. That's the truth. That's the truth, right? So, the people must put pressure, the civil society must demand that the political parties leave these people out. That's the only way we are going to clean up the parliament. If they somehow obtain nominations, they will, with their money, with their power, the connections, they will obtain the required votes. And most of them will poll more than 100,000 votes.
Shamindra Ferdinand, on Newsline, Prime and on the day version, it's the same thing, It's just the times that are different. We invite members of the public, our viewers, our beloved viewers actually, to send us SMS questions on 0772 300 305. We have a loyal following. I want to read, there are several messages, but I'd like to read one, even though it's a little bit long. I don't know who it is, okay? It's just a number. The corruption in Sri Lanka is entrenched.
He's a lawyer.
I don't know.
You said he's a lawyer.
No, I didn't. I just said I don't know who he is. He's a viewer. There's a number comes up, but you know. The corruption in Sri Lanka is entrenched. There is no shame. The corruption accelerated under the former regime. Most multi-billionaires today acquired wealth in the last 10 years. The pumping and dumping in the stock market, selling dud stocks to the EPF and other illegally acquired wealth can be easily tracked down in today's technology and computer data world. But we lack the guts to do it. Unlike in the United States, where Raj Rajaratnam, if Raj Rajaratnam was in Sri Lanka, he would not be charged, serving a long prison sentence, nor assets and wealth confiscated.
Raj Rajaratnam.
He would be advising us how to be honest. The country badly needs a Lee Kuan Yew to put this country right. Thank you very much for your question.
He's 100% right. I'd like to add that Raj Rajaratnam may have received appointment as the central bank governor. You don't know, because we had a Singaporean.
That's
right?
a good, that's a good,
and I must also tell you, you take the judiciary, right? You take, I'm not commenting on the judiciary, but we reveal that the Bar Association of Sri Lanka received 2.5 million from the perpetual treasuries.
For what? For what? To put air conditioning in the courthouse?
To host an international seminar conference in Colombo in 2016 August. Now see, more than a year after the revelations, the Bar Association of Sri Lanka accepted 2.5 million rupees from Arjuna Aloysius.
Did they know it was coming from him?
They knew. So, I'm just saying it now. So, that's the situation. So, they have handed over money to politicians. They have handed over money to the Bar Association. So, they must have paid various other people. So, I think it's high time the Parliament.
Last and final question.
Yeah.
Can I? It's about Madhush, and it's coming from a viewer. Here we go. Is it not better for criminals like Madhush to face the death sentence in Dubai rather than being extradited to Sri Lanka? Obviously somebody who has no faith in the system here.
If you, in Parliament, the JVP MP Dr. Jayatis, he very clearly said that the majority believe that they should be tried in Dubai. Better not bring him back, because the system will, will ensure that he'll be out within, say, 6 months, or maybe sooner. So it's better for them to try him there, not here.
Because over here, if he came, he'll be released on bail.
No, he will find a way, because even if he's inside, they will ensure that he'll get all the facilities, because number of allegations, that even people.
But they say that there are no drug offence charges against him here. I don't know, that's what it says.
That's what the media said for us.
Well, you know, how sad. There's another quick sad thing. The plantation workers, they wanted 1,000 rupees. They wanted 1,000 rupees, yeah? And do you know what they got? They got 30 rupees first. Now they got another 20 rupees. I know some plantation workers, they're aghast. But that's another story for another day, for another program. Shamindra Ferdinando, thank you very much for coming on the program. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And that's the way it was, ladies and gentlemen, on Newsline Prime. Have a very good evening. Take care and God bless.
News First, Newsline.